Well, hello, everybody. And just like that, we're at the end of March already. Yes, this is your March edition of Handball Hits, your monthly look at everything that's been going on in the men's and women's Premier Handball League. Now, I could possibly do this by myself. I've tried it once, and it's better when this man is with me. Of course, Jack Oliphant. It's gone from being a former player, commentator, back to being a player now, Jack, right?
No, I'm actually off to Handball tonight, actually. So, it should be good fun. I only did it for one extra week, but York Handball Club have kindly accepted me to train with them. So, fingers crossed, get some game time.
Anybody from York Handball Club watching this, please get in touch. We want to know how he did. Little confession. This is confession time now. We are actually broadcasting this on Friday. This is when we filmed it anyway. Of course, we appreciate it's going out. It's Sunday. It's 8 p.m. But for us right this very second, it isn't. But it is now that you're watching it. Get your head around that one, Jack.
I was going to say, it's 4 o'clock on a Friday, isn't it? We're going to talk about who's entered the Final Four. And by the time this goes out, the Final Four first weekend will have already been played. So we do apologise if we haven't got the up-to-date details about all the scores and everything like that. But we are still going to talk about the teams.
Well, don't worry about that, actually, everybody, because I'm going to fast forward in time to Sunday right now. And beneath, in the comment section, we have posted the scores from the first round of the Final Four. So what a weekend it was. Congratulations, everybody. So let's get ourselves straight into the handball news. And Jack, perfect little segue then into it, actually. The Final Four, of course, has got underway this weekend. Here's a picture of the teams that are in it. In the women's, Loughborough, NEM Hawks, Olympia, West London Eagles. In the men's, NEM Hawks, Nottingham, Olympia, and West London Eagles as well. A very familiar theme there for the divisions, isn't it? Except for Loughborough and Nottingham, but a good lineup, Jack.
Absolutely, yeah. They're the biggest clubs in the country, arguably. Obviously, there's a little bit of a controversy or news to bring you a little later on about one of the clubs in the men's division. But Olympia and West London Eagles fully deserve to go through as well. I'm sure they'll be thinking that. Nottingham, obviously, they've been in the cup final last year, so they'll be pleased to be going into the further in the league competition this year as well. So, yeah, some really strong competition.
Yeah, and we must touch it. You did make a good point, of course. I'm sure everybody's aware by now, of course, London GD and Liverpool Handball Club, must mention them as well. Not going to be in the Final Four due to there's a fit for purpose criteria, isn't there, with England Handball. It's not really for us to discuss right now on this show, but it is out there. It is public knowledge. And we owe it to London GD to give a mention because they have had a fantastic season as well. More on that later, of course, because we've got the league tables. In fact, in this show as well, you're going to see some action from London GD because we did head over to Leighton School Centre, didn't we, to cover Olympia versus London GD in the Men's Premier Handball League South. You'll be able to see the highlights of that game a little bit later. But from that news on to a little bit more news as well. I'm going to call it breaking news, but I'm always late to the party. Everybody probably already knows this as well. And it is, of course, Ricardo Vasconcelos, a friend of the show as well. He's been on Handball Hits. He is stepping down as Nottingham head coach. Ricardo, if you're watching, I stole these from your Facebook. But here's some nice pictures. So there you are on the right. Of course, that looks like a slightly more recent picture. We've got a couple of older ones as well. Look at that there. What a lovely picture that one is. And another one as well. That is Ricardo Vasconcelos, Nottingham head coach, stepping down. His statement, he did say, time to say goodbye to my role as head coach for Nottingham Handball Club, my handball home for the last 10 years. Will still be a very important part of my life, but it's time that I go back to basics, put my actions where my mouth is and spend some time supporting activities and doing some coaching at the very start of the journey. Of course, Ricardo very heavily involved with the England Handball Association and growing the game right at the very, very start. So I'm sure that I speak for everybody when I say thank you for everything you've done for Nottingham Handball Club, Ricardo. But of course, still very much part of handball, and we're going to see a lot of you as well. In fact, we must get you back on the show as well. Handball needs people like Ricardo, doesn't it, Jack?
Absolutely, yeah. No, he's been a brilliant volunteer. He's obviously worked for England Handball, and he's part of the sort of national setup and everything like that. He's been a brilliant face for handball. His knowledge and his expertise, as well as his dedication, has been awesome. And there is a lot of other people sort of who have also had similar amounts of dedication to the sport and everything like that. And we thank you all as well. But obviously, Ricardo is making the headlines somewhat for himself by stepping away from Nottingham. I know he's up at Leeds Beckett doing his PhD. I'm just hoping he sets something up in Leeds because we desperately need it. So I would be right there with you if you wanted to, Ricardo. So please do.
Oh, so hang on. You're already pushing York Handball Club aside, are we, Jack?
We can play with York. It's fine.
Two local teams. Yeah, it's important for the growth of the game. People like Ricardo stay in the game, and it's great that he is going to do that as well. Now, before we do move on, just a quick reminder, everybody, if you do want to have your say throughout, even though this is pre-recorded, we are watching it back right now. Please do comment below. We can see the comments. Live chat is open at England Handball on YouTube, so do get in touch. Have your say. We do look back at the comments. So if you've got a burning question, you want to find out something, please do comment below. You can just click the link in the body of this broadcast. It'll take you straight through to the England Handball Association YouTube channel. Or Live Sport Now on YouTube is a good place to do it as well. Do comment, do like, and do hit subscribe to watch even more handball coming up. And if you do want to find out more, I know some people don't like it when I keep having to do this, but I do have to plug it. If you do want to find out more about the Men's and Women's Premier Handball League, again, there's a link in the body of this broadcast, or get your phone out. Here we go. We've got an old dead technology and modern here. Look, there's a QR code. Scan that. It'll take you straight through to the England Handball Association website, which I'm assured is getting updated more and more regularly these days as well, which is a good thing because that's what we want. More information, more handball. That's what we're looking to do, isn't it, Jack?
Absolutely, yeah. Transparency all the way. So fingers crossed. I know they've been going through some website developments and all that sort of thing, but we're hoping for some more activity on their website, on the social medias and everything like that. And hopefully, you never know, maybe we'll have someone on the Handball Hits one day as well to say hello and put a face to the organisation. But it's awesome to have the QR codes and everybody involved. So please do help us and get commented and everything like that.
Yeah, and we must say as well, actually, on a sad note, in fact, I'm going to bill it as handball news as well. I'm not going to say contract, but our agreement with the England Handball Association to broadcast the Men's and Women's Premier Handball League is now over, of course, because the regular season has almost finished. Well, it has finished by the time you're watching this, because there is actually a game taking place, which took place yesterday, which is tomorrow, the 25th, basically. Yeah. But of course, we're not going to be live for that game. And we want your feedback as well. Please head over to Live Sport Now on YouTube or get in touch with us at our website. At www.livesportnow.uk and tell us what you've made of our coverage as well. We're always looking to improve, so we do want to hear from you. Please be brutally honest with us. We won't take offence. For us to get better, we need to hear from you and tell us what we can do better going forward. Nothing's confirmed for next season, but I can tell you talks are ongoing and it's looking good at the minute, as is coverage of the Final Four for rounds 2 and 3. Again, I can't confirm anything as of yet. I'm in conversation at the minute, but it's looking good. We might be able to get some live coverage for rounds 2 and 3 of the Final Four. Not confirmed, though, everybody, so please don't start going out saying it's definitely going to be covered. But we are trying to do our utmost to work on something. Right. That ends the handball news. I'm Jack, unless actually a bit more breaking news. Jack Oliphant's playing for York Handball Club.
if they play some games, maybe I'll get one.
Dust off the knees, Jack. Dust off the creaky knees, and
I'll give it a go.
Right, let's get into some game action, shall we now? Because we've mentioned London GD, we've mentioned Olympia as well. It was Clash in the Capital Part 3, technically, for us, maybe even Part 4, actually, isn't it?
Lost count.
Quite a games in London. We headed down to Leyton Sports Centre, bang opposite Leyton Orient Football Club as well. The day that Leyton Orient were at home against, I can't remember who they were against, but anyway, it was a busy old day, wasn't it? But we managed to cover the game, broadcast it live. It was a cracking game as well. It went right down to the wire. So here's a little look at Olympia, the London GD in the Men's Premier Handball League South at the start of March.
From outside as I was walking in, couldn't contest in there with a 24 for Olympia. Is this their first goal? Yes, it is. Olympia's 24. Something to play for in the final four as well. And GD already qualified. Don't need to win this as Morgan Gilligan to the left wing. You don't stop there. He loves the flick out the volley on his defensive prowess. And he won't be very happy with that. If his brother's watching, I'm sure he'll have enjoyed it. There is Olympia's second goal of the game. This is number 8.
10 minutes of this first half to go.
There we go.
Now to
Really, I'm amazed I ever got brought in to coach any handball when you could just explain it like that. Oh, is there going to be a goal there? I thought he was clean there, to be honest.
I must say, not to do discredit, we've got Daniel Shackler in front of us. He's the London GD goalkeeper. He'll be on in the second half, I no doubt. It kind of tends to be how London GD have played it this season. Oh, they found it again. Yes, they do. It just looks a little bit flat in the early stages, Olympia. It's a good save though, but the follow-up is converted.
Yeah, and again, I was about to say, going to call him Jonas, as it's his first name. There's the name on the back of the shirt, and the ball's in the back of the net. Good penalty there. Gibson was nowhere near it.
At the minute, Olympia are not out of this, are they?
Absolutely not, and they're going so much more aggressive on the defence. And Morgan Gillian has another high. He was starting so well. They intercepted that tactical change they made going into this second half. It's to the line, and they're starting to run out of ideas slightly here. GD, they're forcing the ball, they move it to Xavier, and Olympia have another goal. And I tell you what, that was definitely forcing it. Definitely forcing it. Unfortunately, GD going the other end. Good finish there, and as I said, he might get a penalty or it might be a 2 minutes, but he didn't get anything. But Olympia get a goal. The second half in, it's absolutely flown right, hasn't it?
It really does, doesn't it? 2:30 minutes. That was cheeky, wasn't it, from Gillian?
He's going to annoy me so much. He's going to be so smug about that.
Here today, I hope you're watching, Joran. I know you're over in Costa Rica. If you are, please comment below what you made of your boys so far, and certainly winning the crowd.
GD missed, and I tell you what, with the 2 minutes into the goal.
Oh, it's got one back for Olympia. Oh,
there is potential.
Okay, Xavier's come alive in the second half. Can he come back? Yes, he can. And Danny Chapman's in goal now as well for GD. So we've had a change in goalkeeper.
It's a great performance by Olympia in the second half. We were obviously glowing about GD in the first. Archer gets the goal. Olympia thought he was there in the area. I'm not entirely sure I agree that time. But Archer gets probably what will be a very important goal for GD.
Well, Jack,
It was also play with the game. I mean, I'm guessing that's the subject you're about to bring up, isn't it?
oh, how did you know? Who is your large ball now player of the match, Jack Oliphant?
Are you asking me about 3 minutes too soon? Stopping me. They go for goal! It's in! A great goal! A quick turnaround. GD has one player out. Minus by the wall.
Absolutely mesmerising.
It has. So they get the ball in the back of the net as well. They're actually calling for fastest play.
Right, Jack, my ears have still not recovered from those vuvuzelas echoing around Leighton Score Centre. Wow, what an atmosphere that was for Olympia v London GD.
It was incredible. And to be honest, I forgot how good a game it was. Obviously, it was about 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? And watching those highlights back, it does remind you about how tense it was right at the end. I mean, in my head, it was all about sort of GD pulling ahead in the first half and Olympia coming back. But sort of the way I remembered it going into this show was the fact that they weren't really ever going to be close enough. They just made a bit of a show of it. But actually, there was a really good chance that they would end up coming home with the 3 points. Really fun atmosphere to be in. The crowd made it extra special, and obviously the players were reacting. 2 full benches, which always helps because they make a massive noise. So, yeah, it was an awesome day.
Yeah, it certainly was. And we talk about that. It looked like London GD had run away with it at one point. And I'll tell you something, I think I spoke to the coaches after 5 more minutes or even 2 minutes left in the game, another 2 minutes, and Olympia might have had it. I think, was it just two goals in it in the end?
Yeah, there was, 28-26, I think. So I think GD obviously dismantled Olympia in the first half. They were throwing up flare goals, they were throwing up Kempers, running through the centre of their defence. Everything was going right for GD. Olympia looked like they were on the floor. Second half, we were talking at halftime, Ian, that we were expecting Olympia to come out and do something drastic, do something different that maybe GD hadn't expected or we hadn't seen before or something. And they didn't do anything overly drastic, but they did change tactically from a 6-0 defence to a 5-1 defence. And all of a sudden, GD just didn't know what to do with it. Xavier was on the point, and fast break after fast break, Olympia just turned it around. And once they got 2 or 3 goals without reply, all of a sudden they could sense something as almost blood in the water. They were going at it, and it made a really, really good end to the game. But yeah, Olympia with the tactical change is really what swung it.
Yeah, almost paid dividends for Olympia, but we must stress London GD did get the win in the end. It was an absolute corker. By the way, any game that we've covered this season, if you go back and watch it, the England Handball Association YouTube channel is the place to do it. Every game that we broadcast stays there throughout the entire season. Well, it just stays there forever, basically. So if you do fancy going back and checking it out, then please do head over to England Handball Association, watch them back. Jack and I actually produce some smaller snippets for highlights as well, don't we? So if you want to watch that again, that little video, head over to Live Sport Now on YouTube. Check out Jacko Racing as well. This way is hang on. There you go. That's really awkward. That there for Jack. There you go. Jacko Racing right there. Check him out on Facebook. And do you have YouTube, Jack? I don't know.
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I just put up the little 1 minute snippets.
There you go. TikTok. He's down with the kids. Is Mr. Jack Oliphant. I do have a TikTok account myself as well. Check me out in Waterhouse. Right, shameless plug-in aside. Let's just have a quick look at the rest of the results, shall we? For March. Not a huge amount of games actually taking place in March as we got to the tail end of the season, but your results for the Men's Premier Handball League South, your March results look like this. Chelsea, West London Eagles going toe-to-toe in a West London battle, that one. I mean, if there's a derby, Chelsea, West London Eagles is it in handball, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Chelsea doing a pretty good job this season. Obviously, coming up from the sort of second division in this sort of reshuffling of the Premier League, did a lot of very good work against some big teams. Obviously, couldn't quite get close enough to West London Eagles, but I'm sure again they made an atmosphere of it and they made a bit of a show of it. Not too many sort of surprising results in there. Obviously, Olympia GD we just covered, that was very tight. Everybody always expected that to be tight. Carl Sholton against Cambridge, maybe a bigger gap than we were expecting, but obviously Carl Sholton getting their point difference as well. But Chelsea, West London Eagles, I'm sure the atmosphere is brilliant, even if the game wasn't all that close.
Yeah, we actually broadcast the return fixture, didn't we? The reverse fixture, I should say, of Cambridge, Carl Sholton, Titans earlier in the season. And that was a close game too, but Carl Sholton getting the job done. Chelsea 24, West London Eagles 33, Carl Sholton, Titans 34, Cambridge 23. And of course, we've just covered Olympia 26. London GD 28. There's your results in the Premier Handball League South. Let's have a look at the North. Not many games at all. NEM Hawks, Nottingham. So NEM Hawks 33, Nottingham 22. Manchester Liverpool took place on Saturday, the 25th of March.
Helpful.
Now, what we have done, we've again fast forwarded, gone back in time, whatever you want to call it, back to the future. And we'll post the result below. So congratulations to the winning team there. It was a great game, wasn't it? If it was a draw, my word, what a draw that was. You go check that one out. But Manchester and Liverpool played on Saturday the 25th. Right, what does that do then for the tables? The Men's Premier South table ended up looking like this. London GD topping it, of course. We've already touched on why they've not gone through to the final four. Olympia in second, West London Eagles in third. Chelsea, debut season, of course, in the Premier Handball League. It was a good season, wasn't it? 5 wins, 150% strike rate. Pretty impressive, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously not exactly caught up with the top 2 West London Eagles, but they'll be going through, and I'm sure they'll be hard at work training and everything like that to try and make sure they're up to the strenuous nature of the final four, where obviously they go against the northern clubs as well. So a couple of games that they haven't played before, I'm sure they'll have to be on their toes, the northern top 2, just to try and get something from West London Eagles. You shouldn't be fooled the fact that they've gone in third technically. They're still going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they certainly are. Cosholton in fifth with a couple of wins. Both of their wins coming over Cambridge, who end the season in sixth place. Right, let's flip over to, let's get the passport out, shall we? Go north of Watford Gap and go for the men's north table. Congratulations, NEM Hawks. Look, the cracker that is 8 games, 8 wins. Congratulations to them. Nottingham in second, Birmingham in third, Manchester in fourth, Liverpool in fifth. Aside from NEM Hawks, because they're the obvious choice, but who has impressed you the most out of Nottingham, Birmingham, Manchester, and Liverpool?
Well, I mean, Nottingham, we sort of expected them to be strong as well, given the fact that they were in the national finals last year. We covered that, obviously, me and Ian, and as well as a whole host of other people that you can go back on the England Handball website and watch that as well. Hopefully, we'll be around this year as well, but nothing confirmed just yet. Birmingham, Manchester, and Liverpool, we haven't seen all that much of them. I suppose Liverpool, we saw them against Manchester Hawks. I was very impressed with their sort of tenacity in the game. Again, the game sort of came to them in waves a little bit. They were stronger at certain points, just not consistent enough. But they showed spells that they can really sort of mix it with the top teams, maybe when they get that little bit extra consistency behind their belt. Maybe it's just experience, I'm not entirely sure. But out of all the 4 leagues, the 2 men's and the 2 women's in this shake-up of the Premier League, I think the Northern men's was definitely the one that had the biggest disparity between sort of the top 2 teams and the rest. Hopefully that can be closed next year.
Yeah, I'm sure it will as things move on. Of course, it's the first season of the split as well, isn't it? The North-South divide between both the men's and women's Premier Handball League. And, I think the idea really is to get more teams involved in the top flight, and that's how it's going to grow. So not too bad at all. So that's your look at the men's Premier Handball League. We're going to turn our attention to the women's Premier Handball League. And it was only last Sunday, wasn't it? Actually, it wasn't that long ago. We made the trip up to Northgate Arena, didn't we, in Chester, for Loughborough against Trafford. This was another cracker, wasn't it? Let's have a look at the highlights from Loughborough v Trafford in the Women's Premier Handball League North. To win. If they win the league. If they don't, they finish in 3rd place. It is all to play for. It was a great goal, wasn't it?
Wanted, maybe there was a bit of a hangover from yesterday. Help's a very, very difficult team to beat. You really do have to bring your... I'm sure it probably wasn't as high a scoring game as this one.
It was 1-1.
Yeah, 1-0. There we go. Yeah, we've already beaten that one.
What a beautiful goal that is by Loughborough.
A finish.
Yeah, confirmation, Jack. It is definitely 3-3.
Looks like they've got passive play already, a little bit early for me, but they do take the shot and go walking into the top corner from the right back.
The most simple maths and equation that we could ever do.
Wow.
Oh, what a goal for that.
Wow.
So here we are, Loughborough with it. Loughborough in their purple, Trafford in the orange.
There's a goal.
And that was a goal, wasn't it?
That was by Steeple Bundle. He won the penalty and thrown that 25 and takes it and dispatches it.
Yeah, good stuff. Well called there, Jack. Loughborough 6, Trafford 5. Loughborough with it on the attack. And somehow it snuck in. I'm not quite sure how that went in, but fair play.
Basically, they haven't been as free flowing, they haven't been quite as fluid. They really need to try and come up with something to stop that as well. I mean, Trafford will ignore
as well. Stay tuned for that. And of course, we'll get Jack's expert opinion on the first half. But I do give it a click.
So Trafford again trying to charge one up. I'm sure it's probably going to be a little bit difficult for the Loughborough team to actually concentrate fully. And for the first time this game, Trafford take it between the passer. It seems to be otherwise off the pitch. 26 steps up.
2 halves, isn't it? So I suppose a quarter and a quarter. It was Trafford who led this one. In fact,
good save.
Well, they keep keeping themselves in, don't. If you like what you're seeing, please do comment below. Head over to Lifesport now on YouTube. There's a link in the body of this broadcast. Please hit subscribe as well to our channel. Makes a big difference for us. Helps.
So Ian goes to try and find confirmation of the score. Trafford score one more. You're seeing right now, but to be honest, we're not seeing a lot of wind from the left-hand side. We're seeing a lot of wind from the right-hand side. And surprise, surprise, Dura steps back up.
Oh, it's a save.
So Loughborough again trying to initiate some trigger movements, but a little bit sloppy there, having to bounce in his face on this left wing. And it's right into the top corner. And this time steps up.
We haven't had any penalties down this end, but we only had 1 penalty in the game down this end.
Loughborough shot. Oh, Steeples with the step. A real in the centre of the court. And a great goal.
Yeah, 20, I believe.
And that's fairly standard procedure at this point, isn't it, for the line back to step it up. She won the penalty, the whistle blows, The attempted lob. It's really nice that people have relatives and stuff who maybe live elsewhere. They come over to England and they can still watch them play. As Barnard sticks it, he gets thrown in the air and you catch it. That was right down the barrel of our camera. That pass, got the pressure on. All of a sudden, gone for the long throw.
Yeah, there we go. I always try and end those videos on the beat of the music. I always fail miserably as well. But it was an incredible game. Loughborough winning 35-26. As we said a few times, there was a lot riding on that game as well. And what we didn't know, actually, until we turned up, was that Loughborough played the day before as well, hadn't they, Jack?
They played against Hawks, which, of course, were top of the table going into that weekend. And so we sort of thought that, Loughborough, maybe they were in third place going into it. All of a sudden, we turned up. We've heard they've beaten Hawks, so they're in second place, and they could win the title. Well, win the title. They win the top of the Premier Handball League North Women's. Going into the Final Four, that's a massive bit of momentum that they could have taken with them. What we didn't know is that Hawks were also playing on that Sunday, and we obviously couldn't hear all the information about their game, whether their scores were coming in or not. So we had to treat it as if Loughborough, if they won the game against Trafford, would be the Northern champions. So it was a bit difficult. So you hear us a lot in the broadcast and in the highlights and in the interviews talking about how Loughborough won, so they became the Northern champions. There is a little bit of confusion whether Hawks are actually the Northern champions because they got the better goal difference. But on the tables we've been given, it's Loughborough. So yeah, that's the confusion. Yeah,
I'm still not sure. Is it done on head-to-heads or is it actually done on goal difference?
I always thought it was done on goal difference, but then you look at the table and you think, well, why aren't they switched? So maybe it was done on head-to-heads.
So if somebody could tell us,
yeah,
please do comment below. I know this is pre-recorded, but please do comment below. We do go back. We can see them. The only reason we pre-record it is because Jack and I are both. I think we're both motorsport at the weekend, actually, aren't we?
We are indeed.
So if anybody's at Silverstone, hello. So please do comment below. As I've said before, we can see the comments. We want to hear from you. Now, Jack, we always ask you for your player of the match, and you nominated Chloe Barnard. Why?
So many goals. There's just so many goals. Armed like a rocket whenever they needed. Sort of a pick-me-up. She was always there on that right-hand side. And I just thought out of all of the Loughborough team, who obviously played against Hawks as well. I'm guessing she played 60 minutes against Hawks or near as damn it 60 minutes. She looked the most fresh and she scored the first couple of goals and sort of didn't let up really. And the defence was very impressive as well because I believe the Trafford player at left back was Rodak and she was a menace. Really good arm on her. Not maybe as mobile, but equally just if she got a shot off, it was going in the back of the net. All of a sudden, Loughborough went really aggressive on the defence and it was Chloe's job to get up there and make sure she didn't shoot.
Now, after the game, you managed to grab a quick word with her. We usually give out a bottle of Prosecco, don't we? Or cheap sparkling wine. Or whatever.
Something sparkly.
Chloe is under the age of 18, so she got a Live Sport Now sticker instead. And here's what she had to say after the game.
Congratulations, player of the match. A big cheer from your teammates behind you as well. I mean, obviously the atmosphere is jubilant. You've just become the champions of the North. That must be absolutely buzzing.
It is absolutely insane. I can't believe that we've gone from being third in the league, fourth in the league at points, and just brought it back in the last few games.
I was going to say, weren't you? We're still cheering for you. From memory, I mean, what Ian's been saying is Saturday. You were down in third, and all of a sudden you win yesterday, you win today. Was that been a bit of a long weekend?
It has been a very tiring weekend, especially having to then travel up here today, 2.5-hour journey, but it's been worth it to win the North League.
I was going to say it was brilliant, and I'm pretty sure there was no competition with it. Top scorer for today as well. How do you G yourself up to go from yesterday at Hawks, very tough opponents, and again, Trafford, no disrespect to them, very tough indeed. But I mean, you guys absolutely smashed it on all positions.
Yeah, we just Ollie set us a game plan, we knew what we had to do and we came in and did it. So.
Well, it's fantastic. We will have a chat with Ollie, but congratulations on player of the match. I do believe Ian's got a sticker for you. Oh, he's been G'ing up his stickers, so you can't give out alcohol.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't have a sticker to hand right now, but if anybody wants a Live Sport Now sticker, you're more than welcome. Next time you see
giving them away now, aren't we?
But you do have to subscribe to Live Sport Now on YouTube. So there you go. Make sure you do that. I definitely do it because then you can watch even more live handball. So why wouldn't you do it? Yeah, I mean, look, she was unstoppable, wasn't she? She was top scorer in the game as well. She wasn't the only one, though. There was a number of strong performances. In fact, there was a couple of nasty injuries in the game as well, wasn't there, Jack?
Yeah, I think Pastor, I think her name was, is the name that comes to mind anyway, and obviously took a rather nasty head injury, which is a bit of a shame. She was playing well from left back, apparently one of their more important players as well. We were talking, I think you show a little interview with her and Ollie Sutcliffe in a couple of minutes' time, just to give a bit of a spoiler. But she was all in good spirits, and at one time we did think, oh, she's looking a bit shaky walking off the court there, and we were sort of worried about her, but luckily, she sort of bounced up and wanted to have a chat, and she wanted to be involved with the game again. But obviously, she couldn't play. But yeah, a bit of a shame. But Loughborough didn't let that concentration go away. Kept going and probably used it as a bit of inspiration.
Yeah, Sadie Quinn for Trafford took a knock to her shoulder as well. I'm pleased to say both ladies are absolutely fine, mainly because somebody heroically gave up his chair for Pastor so she could sit down. Was it you, Jack? Or no?
I got you a replacement chair.
It was. And you did say we were going to hear from Pastor and Ollie Sutcliffe. We are as well. So you're actually going to see that. You're not going to see the injury, but she had a head bandaged up. Now, during that game, actually, a lot of comments were coming out about Ollie Sutcliffe, the coach for Loughborough. People saying he's got to be the most handsome man in handball. Jack, surely you've got a claim to that, though, haven't you?
Oh, no, I wouldn't take it away from Ollie. He's got the people's vote by the sounds of it. It's in fact, I asked him about it in the interview, and he called out the exact person who he thought would be commenting, to be fair. So,
wasn't just one. I think there was some sort of in-joke going on. But anybody watching this right now, tell us, what do you think? Ollie Sutcliffe, we caught up with him. Well, you caught up with him after the game and Pastor as well to get their immediate reaction. They were both delighted, and here's what they had to say.
Ollie, a big game, really, wasn't it? Well, a big weekend, actually, of course. I couldn't believe when I turned up and Ian said that you'd played yesterday as well. I mean, a squad rotation, squad depth, that's incredible.
It is, yeah, and we've got a big squad, and you saw coming off the bench there wasn't a drop in quality at all. We miss our starting left back, and we come on, and the next one up, Tabby, absolutely smashes it as well. But this one's an absolute warrior. She she lost a tooth at Bucks as well, so that's 3 weeks. She's split her eyebrow and lost a tooth playing handball. So
I mean, you're very good. Are you sure it's a sport for you though?
Yes. She's committed. We'll give her that. She's committed to the team. So yeah,
fair play.
My blood. I gave my blood
How
to this
did Bucks go before? Because we didn't cover any of that.
We won, so...
You won? Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Loughborough winning at Bucks, what a shock. Big congratulations on that, and a massive sort of weekend. Talk to me about a little bit like yesterday as well, because obviously Hawks, not easy in the slightest. I've said before, no disrespect to Trafford, but Hawks, that's a big game to start with.
Yeah. No, it was. We knew coming in this was like our final weekend where we had to win both games. If we lost either one of the two games, we would have come third, not qualify for Final Four. So it was a real motivation to try and win. But yeah, yesterday the girls came out and they just absolutely smashed it. We just looked in control from the start, and it's the nicest feeling in the world as a coach, where you're looking back and going, yeah, keep doing it. Like, I don't need to say anything, just keep doing the same. So,
if you think that's the nicest feeling in the world, honestly, have a look at the YouTube comments afterwards. You had quite a lot of love on that as well, I'm sure.
If it was from a Nicholas Radford, I know what he's on about. But it was just...
There were multiple people, I'm not going to lie. From a player's perspective, though, 2 games in 1 weekend, I mean... used to do it, but I mean, I know how hard it is, put it that way, and exactly. I mean, granted, you only played 15 minutes of the second one, but I'm kidding, that's a bit harsh.
Ouch, okay.
No, but I mean, from a player's perspective, how hard was it to G yourself up and think, going from yesterday thinking, oh, we've got a chance now? There's a lot of adrenaline, I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely. I think what's really easy, I think what made it easy for us, that we come together as a team, especially this year and everything. We have all that really good team cohesion together, so...
Well, fair play. I mean, last thing, in terms of next season, obviously, being a university-based team, there's often quite a lot of transition and stuff, sort of that I've experienced anyway when I was at Leeds Beckett.
Yeah.
But you guys are actually a community club now. You're hoping to retain a lot of the players as well.
So we're actually, we started this year, and I said it was a 2-year cycle, because from this year to next year, we're only actually losing 2 players, which is very rare for a handball team, for a university handball team. So this is like the start of a journey where, if we're in the first year winning, coming top of the league, it's a pretty good start. And then next year we just want to progress and go further. So hopefully the retention. I think after next year there's quite a big drop off, but we'll worry about that in the future. For now, this journey we're on is I'm excited as a coach.
Yeah, good stuff there from Olympia there. She was absolutely fine, by the way. Great spirits, wasn't she? Got bandaged up and off she was going. You make a good point, actually, with regards to Loughborough there, Jack, as well. It is quite difficult, isn't it? Because it's almost like school teams, isn't it? Certainly I know it's bigger over in America, like American football, for example. They get about 2 years out the kids, and if you get a good crop, you can go far. If you don't, you're going to struggle. And perhaps more than any other team, there's a transition period, as you said, and a churn of players, I suppose.
Yeah, I do just want to very quickly point out that at the beginning of that interview that you clipped out, I did actually ask her how she was. I wasn't just standing there to take the mick out of her. But you nicely clipped that one out for me, Ian. Thank you very much. You're absolutely right.
I didn't edit that one, so I can't take any credit.
You're absolutely right in terms of the university stuff. We had it when I was at Leeds Beckett, like I mentioned there, and you do sort of have this window where you sort of get a cohort of players that you think, oh, something special's happening here. And you almost raise them for a year or two, where you think at the end of it, that's when you want to be at your peak. And for us, it was sort of it was a bit of an anticlimax sort of thing. We actually probably did arguably a little bit, it's better feel good in the first year than it was in the second year, but we were in the higher division, whereas Loughborough seems to be going from strength to strength. And if this is their first year, there's absolutely no reason why their second year can't step up a gear. And from the evidence, if Ollie and the backroom staff and a few of the players they sort of stay around Loughborough University Handball Club, there's no reason why they can't then transition and try and do it all again. But it is a little bit exhausting, and it's a bit of a lottery basically of what you're going to get in terms of freshers to coming in, and whether you get anybody who's going to be up to the level that you expect them.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. There's certainly a team to keep an eye on for next season. Let's have a little look, shall we, let's have a little look at the rest of the results from the Women's Premier Handball League. Start in the south, shall we? A few games took place. Northampton 29, West London Eagles 21. Just touching on Northampton as well. They're the only side we haven't actually managed to cover this season. So I just want to say a bit of sorry to Northampton. However, we're back next season. We will put you right to the top of the tree and get down to cover you as soon as we possibly can. It's just the way it's worked out. There was always going to be, I thought there might have been a couple of teams we weren't going to be able to get to. The only team we haven't been able to cover this season is Northampton. So apologies, Northampton, but I can assure you, if we're back next season, you will be getting in front of the camera. Arctic Falcons 32, Cambridge 32. What another cracker it is between those two sides. Again, we broadcast a reverse fixture early in the season, and it was tight. Again, those two just love having a draw, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think in the fixture that you broadcast, I think you were solo on that one, Ian, because it was the same day as the Carl Sholton-Cambridge game, wasn't it? They had sort of very small squads, so the game was a little bit slower, actually, just because they were trying to conserve some energy, I believe. But by the looks of that game, 32-all, there was nothing slow about it. A very high scoring, very energetic probably, and probably very exciting indeed. And as we said, we haven't unfortunately seen much of Northampton at all this year. So I don't know whether it's unfair for me to say it's a surprise that they're beating West London Eagles, but from when I was playing, certainly, and from what we've seen over the last year, West London Eagles very strong. So big well done to Northampton, because that's a bit of a giant killing, I would say. West London Eagles, they're not exactly a bad handball team, put it that way. And of course, Olympia versus GD is always going to be very tight, as it is in the men's. Bit of a lower scoring game. We didn't see it. I'm going to put it down to the fact that maybe it was good defense rather than poor attack, the reason why it was 22-18 instead of closer to 30-all. But yeah, probably very exciting indeed. And I can imagine if it's anything like the men's game we covered, the atmosphere was astounding.
It would have been electric. Yeah, it was the week after actually the men's game, hence the reason why we weren't able to be there for it. Let's move up north, shall we? Let's dig out the passport again for the second time today. Quite a few more games taking place in the Women's Premier Handball League North, as you can see. Loughborough 32, Liverpool 28. How important did that result end up being for Loughborough? Birmingham 26, Trafford 29. Again, Loughborough, a lot of games in March, actually. No wonder. They must have been absolutely exhausted. Of course, Loughborough 35, Trafford 26. That was the game that we broadcast live. And again, the day before, they played NEM Hawks. A cracking result of that, 33-20 against Hawks, Jack.
It's a big win, to be honest. And the Hawks, we broadcast them earlier in the season. We did quite a lot of interviews with a few of their management and coaching and a few of their players and everything. And they did say that they weren't feeling as strong as they did last season when they won the league and everything like that. But to be honest, we didn't see any of that weakness when we were broadcasting them. So only from what we've seen so far this season, Loughborough beating them by 13 goals is massive from Loughborough's perspective. Really well done to them. And I can only imagine they've had 3 games in March, potentially being a university team. Maybe in January they had exams, or there's just potentially they weren't around, maybe on work experience or anything like that. So placements or whatever. So maybe they had to rearrange some of the games. It's a complete guess, but that's what we had to do when I was at Beckett. So potentially that's why they had 3 games, but they've turned up and they've won all 3. So you can't really argue with that.
There you go. Half term, is that still a thing?
Personally, no.
And just round it off, they can't have been that bad, NEM Hawks, because they did beat Nottingham at 30-21. So what about the league tables? Let's have a quick look, shall we? Let's go to the Women's South. Start there. London GD topping it to 8 wins, of course, a draw and a defeat to West London Eagles. Just going to show how impressive that win for Northampton was. West London Eagles winning 70% of their games. Olympia also winning 70% of their games, but they lost 3 as well. Then, of course, Northampton in 4th place. Then Cambridge and Arctic Falcons at the bottom of the table, but a couple of draws. Pretty impressive stuff. We know how much their team was torn apart. In fact, when they played Cambridge earlier in the season, when we were there, I think they only had 7 players. So they had no subs, nothing. So well done to Arctic Falcons for getting the season done, really, Jack, to be fair. You know?
Yeah, I think when you're doing the interviews with Arctic Falcons, when I was watching them back, they live all over the place, don't they? They're nowhere near each other, so they can't really train together either.
No, I spoke to Iona after it, and they struggle to train together. So just to get a couple of draws, I think, is impressive. But they are looking to get themselves a more tightly knit group going forward, and that's what we want to see. And the Northern table, there is Loughborough sitting at the top of it. NEM Hawks in 2nd place. I just wonder if it is done on head-to-head, because as you can see, actually, Hawks' goal difference is better, but that is what it is. That's for higher powers than me to be able to work out. Liverpool sitting in 3rd place, Birmingham in 4th, Trafford in 5th, and Nottingham in 6th. Is that a bit of a surprise, do you think, Jack? Would you have thought that at the start of the season?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have thought they'd come in 6th. No, I didn't really know how to call it. I didn't know what Trafford and Birmingham would bring to the table in terms of the sort of quality of their handball or their setup and their club or anything like that. But Nottingham, certainly a club I'm sort of more familiar with. I know a few of the backroom staff, and yeah, I am slightly surprised that they only came away with 2 victories and ended up at the bottom. I know they won't be satisfied with that. They'll probably come back stronger. Lots of training. Pre-season will probably go hard for them. But yeah, I am slightly surprised at the 6th position. But I suppose that's obviously a testament to Birmingham and Trafford for, achieving more than potentially a lot of people expected of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what a season it has been. Every single month we brought you 2 games live across the course of the season. Jack, you didn't know I'm going to ask you this, but what has been your favourite game that we've covered this season?
I think it's probably 2 that stand out to me. From a personal perspective, I really enjoyed covering they're both men's games, I'll be honest. But from a personal perspective, I really enjoyed covering the Liverpool versus Manchester Hawks. Yep. Mainly because I knew a lot of the players. It was really nice to go back to that sort of that end of the country and say hello to a lot of people that I hadn't seen for a long time that I used to play with. So that was really nice. And then probably one of the most exciting games, I would say, in terms of quality of handball and the sort of the way the game flowed was Olympia versus GD, the most recent one we've covered. We saw the highlights at the beginning of this show, and I just think they were It was so exciting to watch. It was the atmosphere was buzzing, as we've said multiple times already. But those two really stand out for me. Obviously, that's no disrespect to the women's game at all. We've had some thrilling women's game that we've covered as well. I mean, but it just those two really stick out in my head.
Excellent stuff. Right, that is just about wraps it up from us. I'm sure we'll probably end up doing another show at the end of April, actually, Jack, once we've got through all the Final Fours and bits. So you haven't seen the last of us yet this season. Like I said, there's a chance we might be covering rounds 2 and 3 as well. But that is it for our official live coverage this season for the men's and women's Premier Handball League. Again, we want your feedback. Please tell us what you've made of our live coverage this season. We're always looking to improve. We're always looking to get better. So please be totally honest with us. We've got thick skins. If you think we've been rubbish, tell us we've been rubbish. But tell us why we've been rubbish. And if you think we've been... Actually, no. No. Please do be honest, because, you know, we're doing this because we want to get the game of handball even bigger than it already is here in England. We know how big it is across the rest of the continent. For some reason, it doesn't seem to be as big as we'd like it in England. It's such a good sport. In fact, not such a good sport. It's an incredible sport. I mean, 64 goals in the Arctic Falcons, Cambridge. You know, you can go and watch a football match and it's 0-0 after 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's just, wow, we need to get this game out more. So please comment below. Tell us what you've made of our coverage this season. Wherever you're watching this video, we do go back through every single page where it's broadcast just to check out the comments and see what you have been saying. And if you do get the time, please do head over to livesportnow.uk. That is our website. We've got a shiny brand new website as well. And head over to our YouTube channel, Live Sport Now. Please do hit subscribe. It's not just handball. We've got loads of other sports. I won't bore you with all that now. But if you love sport, Live Sport Now is the place to be. Jack Oliphant, it's been a real pleasure to have you this season. Thank you so, so much. It's really made a big difference. I couldn't have done it by myself. You've been a true professional. You've held my hand when I've needed it to be held, which is a lot. And I can't thank you enough for all that you've done this season as well.
No, it's been brilliant to be involved. Thank you very much for obviously having me along. I'm not part of Live Sport Now. I'm a freelance. The fact I've been around, the fact that I've been around and invited back has been brilliant. And hopefully all the comments aren't asking for you to get a new co-host. And I'll be back hopefully for the Final Four, the national finals, and hopefully next season.
Yeah, it won't be co-host. They'll be looking to get rid of Jack. It'll be you're safe. Again, that's it from us. So if you do want to find out more, of course, at any time about the men's and women's Premier Handball League, there's a link in the body of this broadcast. It'll take you straight through to the England Handball Association website, or get your phones out, scan that QR code. That is March Handball Hits over. We will probably be back at the end of April because we just can't keep away. But thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, throughout the course of the season. It's been a real pleasure. Again, don't forget, get that feedback in. Please do comment below. Please do tell us what you have made of it. And I have no doubt that we'll be back live next season as well. What a season it has been. Congratulations to all of the teams competing, and a personal thank you as well to everybody who's helped us get everything organised this season. The teams have been absolutely brilliant. The players have just been sensational as well, making yourselves available to talk to, even though you probably don't want to when we're walking around with a camera. Time to say goodbye. Thanks, everybody. And if we don't see you for the Final Four, I'm sure we'll see you next season. Stay tuned. Thank you. Bye-bye.